All right, everyone, get your dessert. There's tons of wine left. The more wine you drink, the better the evening will go for me. You will have a better time. Don't film that, John. Again, we hear that there's quite a few people still backed up on Garland Road, but we have a lot to cover, and we don't want to keep you here too late. So we're going to get started here in just a minute. As soon as my crack electronics digital team tells me they're ready. All right, Carl Thibodeau's ready. Big John, are we ready? Big John gives me the thumbs up. All right, let's do this thing. All right, welcome everyone. If I could have your attention. Welcome to the Green Source DFW 2018 Sustainable Leadership Awards. I know that also everybody likes to talk and visit because it really is Old Home Week. The whole purpose of this, there we go. With my little quiet, demure voice. Thank you so much. It really is Old Home Week. This is the one time of the year that we can all come together and just enjoy the evening and honor our peers and people that have made a difference in the DFW community. I was talking to Kirk, and we will have some very happy people tonight, and we will have some not so happy people tonight. But always remember this, that once you knock off the big dog, then the next year, you get to move up, because there are certainly some icons, some people with 20 and 30 years in the business that usually get honored first, but I think it's going to be, there'll be some surprises tonight too. The theme of tonight is sort of along the lines of when old meets new, or when digital meets analog, or old school meets new school. We're going to have some wonderful old school activities tonight, and then our keynote speaker, Karen from Stroop from Treehouse, is going to be talking about the digital world and how it is now helping us win the environmental fight in the business world. So we have some wonderful slides that we're going to go through that are very important, and Carl, we'll let you go forward. You're so fast, sorry. I need a little screen. I need that high-tech screen there. Oak Cliff Earth Day. For those of you who don't know, the Mimnazine Institute, who is our sponsoring organization, has merged, so to speak, with Oak Cliff Earth Day. Oak Cliff Earth Day missed a year, and Mary Ann and Joshua, who were very, huge supporters of Oak Cliff Earth Day, stepped in and said, we are not going to allow Oak Cliff Earth Day to go away. So we have merged and taken over that. We have a table. Barbie, LeBeau, Lenora, several people that are from Oak Cliff. And Oak Cliff is really a perfect example of how a community can progress. How when they come together and start working together, they can make amazing, amazing progress. And for those of you who did not make it to Oak Cliff Earth Day last year, other than the 30-something degrees with the 20-mile-an-hour wind, it was an incredible success. I promise if it's cold again, we will have more hot coffee. We were making it as fast as the coffee machines would allow us to make. But save the date, April 14th, 2019, Oak Cliff Earth Day. Next we have is thank you to our brand new, incredible banner sponsor, EarthX. Let's give them a hand right now. As you might imagine, there is somewhat of a good-natured rivalry that goes on between Oak Cliff Earth Day and EarthX, but we all remember that the goal is the same. The goal is to bring as many people into the fold, get them excited about protecting the environment, loving Mother Earth, and so we have an Earth Month is what we have. So we have a very short presentation from Karen Flagg, and Karen is going to tell us at least one very exciting thing that's going on at EarthX.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Wendell. And as Wendell said, a lot of old and new. And one of the things that we say about EarthX is that we have the power to connect people. And that's really what it's all about. That our missions are all the same, that we all wanted to do the same thing, protect Mother Earth, and really work together. So this year, though, we're really excited. We just got back from launching EarthX Mexico. So now EarthX is international and spreading the word to Latin America. So we're very excited about that connection. We have new initiatives this year that we're really trying to get everybody to pledge to show impact. So that every April we're not just putting on expos or just an event, that we really are having impact. So, you know, if you want tonight, you can text EarthX to 70402, and you can take our initiatives. And we're gathering all that data to really show impact. And that's what we're really all about this year, is really making sure that we're all connecting all of our organizations together. I know there are a lot of you here that have all worked with EarthX in the past, and we just love those connections, old and new. And as Patty Silva, our Director of Production, said, that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to, oh crud. If you want to go far, you go together. So I think that we will all go far, and thank you very much. We appreciate all that everybody does and that we're all working together. Thank you.
And there's actually a long history with Earth Day Dallas, Earth Day Texas, and now EarthX of supporting Green Source DFW. So we are glad that that is continuing, and it's we hope again that that the true winner is the environmental community. We have some other sponsors. I want to mention them briefly because they're very important. One of our regulars, John and Margie Haley, who have sponsored one of our full tables here in the middle. Margie was in the forefront in the very beginning of Green Source DFW. She was part of the brain trust that came up with the idea that is behind Green Source, which is to connect all of the various green groups. I can remember not too long ago when maybe you could say we had half a dozen green groups. Well, now just look at the list that goes to EarthX as exhibitors, and it's over 1,000 people, 1,000 groups. So we've gone from a half a dozen to 1,000, and it's hard for that many people to keep in touch. And that was one of the the seed that started Green Source, and Margie Haley was involved in that. Natural Awakenings is one of our media sponsors. Bernice is over here at the groundwork table. Bernice works tirelessly and sometimes very generously for a lot of our groups that maybe can't afford, to pay for media. Bernice is more than generous in that regard. Another one of our longtime and most dedicated sponsors is the Dallas Sierra Club, which has 2 tables tonight. We want to give Dallas Sierra Club a shout. Sierra Club is the largest grassroots organization, and our Dallas group is won several national awards and also is an all-volunteer organization. So Dallas Sierra Club is where when you want to get serious, I used to say, and still do, that Dallas Sierra Club, when you need heavy lifting, the Dallas Sierra Club is the place you go. One other sponsor who will have a special mention tonight, Dallas County Community College District, another one of our great longtime sponsors. And Georgianne, we have a very special award for you tonight, but it's the 2017 award. She got it last year, and then after a short period of time, we noticed that it had, she noticed, or maybe it was the English department, noticed that there was a word there that simply didn't exist. A little bit of a misspelling. But we have corrected that, And now, if you want to come now, you can come pick up your beautiful award. Exactly 1 year late. It's a ship anchor. Thank you. All right. Okay, and our other sponsors, Green Tip Guy, Groundwork, who has a table back here. Is Green Tip Guy even here? Is he here? He didn't make it. I ate his part anyway. Green Tip Guy and Groundwork Dallas is a very innovative workspace place down in a renovated, wonderful neighborhood of south of downtown. And I believe they're up for one of our awards tonight. And then we have Pretty Things and Cool Stuff, a late entry sponsor. And then First Jefferson Unitarian Universalist. Did I get that right? Okay. Carl Thibodeau's church has graciously allowed him to print the programs that you have, and also allowed us to have Carl's time to put on tonight's event. And without Carl and Julie Thibodeau, we wouldn't be here, or it wouldn't be a good deal. I almost feel like I'm at my high school reunion when you have, people that have passed, but we do have some somber notes, but I want to talk about it. I want to take a few minutes to talk about people that have passed in 2018. The first, well, both of them are very tragic. Coke was one of the founders of Mimnazine, and he sat next to me in many a staff meeting, and his presence is greatly missed. But he was the head of Mimnazine's Institute for Indigenous Cultures, Global and Local Outreach. One of his biggest accomplishments was he helped negotiate a treaty between the Hopi and the Navajo nations for the first time in 300 years. He was truly a wonderful person at heart, and he passed away this last summer, and we certainly miss Coke. On a much more recent, as in last week, some of you may not even know this, I had not seen it in the paper, but our friend Ed Lowe, the owner of Celebration Restaurant, a solid sponsor behind Green Source DFW, died in an accident in Big Bend National Park while he was paddling. He was the founder and president of the Friends of the Brazos River. He loved Big Bend National Park. He was a true devotee of John Graves' Goodbye to a River. And one of his favorite sayings was, "You're not in a hurry there. You learned long since not to be." The other thing that we want to honor him for is that he was a generational man, and this article I'm reading is from Green Source DFW by Amy Martin. Is Amy here tonight? Amy wrote this just unbelievable article about Ed, who certainly had no planning, no time to prepare, but one of his favorite things to do was to take young people that from disadvantaged backgrounds on canoe trips, because he said what he would like to do, he wants to introduce kids to a world that many of them have never experienced, and is one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. In other words, he was the giver, but he was the one that got rewarded. Again, this is a hard area for a lot of people, so I wanted to look for some words that could comfort us a little bit. And the first one I found is from President Theodore Roosevelt, who told us that only those are fit to live who do not fear to die, and none are fit to die who have shrunk from the joy of life and the duty of life. Both life and death are parts of the same great adventure. And when he said that, that was right after his youngest son, Quentin, had been killed in World War I. And then another one I want to read you is from Desert Solitaire, Edward Abbey, who is, it's a 50th anniversary of Desert Solitaire. And this is from the Dead Man at Grandview Point essay, where they've just found the lost tourist. And Ed says, looking out on this panorama of light, space, rock, and silence, I'm inclined to congratulate the dead man on his choice of jumping off place. He had good taste. He had good luck. I envy him the manner of his going, to die alone on a rock under the sun at the brink of the unknown, like a wolf, like a great bird, seems to me to be very good fortune indeed, to die in the open under the sky, far from the insolent interference of leech and priest, before this desert vastness opening like a window onto eternity. That surely was an overwhelming stroke of rare good luck. Now, he goes on to say that he's being rather presumptuous, but the point is clear that somebody like Ed Lowe or Coke Buchanan, I mean, that's all any of us could probably hope for, is to die in the open, die in the desert like a wolf or an eagle. A final note, I would tell you that I have instructed the people in my office, David, you know this, if they should come in and find me dead at my desk, they are immediately to drag me out, take me to the nearest national park, state park, city park, even the dog park. I don't care. Please do not let them ever write that I died at my desk. Thank you, David. All right. Our founder, Mary Ann Thompson Frank, is not here tonight. As she'll tell you, she's up at the United Nations receiving an incredible award in New York. And she has given us a short video, and after that video, we'll award some prizes.
Hey Dallas, it's Mary Ann here. I wish more than ever that I could be with you tonight. In fact, the only reason I'm not able to be is because I'm going to be at the United Nations tomorrow receiving the Civic Pioneer Award. And the thing that I want to make really clear about that is that that award does not just represent the work I have done. That award represents the work all of us, including every one of you in that audience, has done together, because we are civic pioneers trying to trailblaze new ways to help ourselves and our community and those around us and leave the kind of world we want for those who come after us. Every single one of you is a leader. Every single one of you has the capacity to make a kind of impact on this world that so few before you have ever done before. And the reason is because right now we're living in a society that is more interconnected now than ever. With our capacity to get online, our capacity to have our voices heard through the internet, our capacity to self-publish, our capacity to do so many things. It comes together with the tools that are empowering every single one of you today. So what happens when we magnify the fact that every single one of you has more power right now at your fingertips, just with that phone in your pocket? Every single one of you has more power than kings, queens, presidents before you, going back 20 years before. You can have your voice heard by more people instantaneously than people back in JFK's time. So what does that mean? It means that when we pull together those voices, we are unstoppable. Yes, there are things that are very frustrating right now. There are things that are actually, let's be blunt, crimes against humanity in terms of how some of the poorest are being treated, in terms of how those who don't have a voice are being ignored. And that means that every single one of you in that audience right now, we have to stand up for all of those people who are not being heard. And right now, more than ever, the environment and human rights are intermingled and meshed in ways that absolutely means one affects the other. And that's why I'm so excited that tonight I know the Joppa community is going to be recognized for their work. I don't know if many of you are aware of the work that the Mimsy Institute has done with the Joppa community, but when we first began, they were one of the first Dallas communities to open their doors to us, leading by the example of Bishop McGriff, who was a good friend of ours, part of our advisory board, and led to the creation of the Juneteenth Festival in Dallas. Not only that, but his wife, he passed away, his wife, Reverend Karen Hawley, led that Juneteenth Festival alongside our interfaith endeavors to become one of the leading interfaith, intercultural, largest Juneteenth festivals, interracial festivals in the entire state of Texas. And one of the things that we teach the kids out there is about the environment. However, this poor community has been in a situation where they have been ignored, as have their neighbors, Sand Branch, for such a long time, because the city of Dallas grew around what used to be basically two freedmen's towns. Those freedmen's towns were the descendants of the slaves that created incredible new lives for themselves. And if you go there, you'll even get to see one of the first African-American cowboy churches in this entire state of Texas and possibly the country. But not only is the culture so unique in and of itself, where the people pride themselves being able to have horses, you'll see small horses next to each house, but you will also see a community that is still so strong that supports many, many churches and mosques on multiple different corners of the streets, each one of those communities working with each other. That community has been involved, and I want to recognize some exceptional people that have been part of what we do. One is Ruby Dickerson, who has helped inform us about what the community over there needs. Others include people who have been awarded in the past through Green Source DFW for their advocating for the things that the people there also need. But most importantly, what I want to recognize today is that it's not just people in one corner of the city, one economic spectrum, one racial spectrum, one demographic of any kind that creates leaders. It's when any single one of you step forward and says, you want to take it upon yourselves and your shoulders to stand for more than your own interest, because you understand that we are living our lives for the generations that come after us, and it's up to us, every single one of us, to determine what kind of world we're going to be leaving for them. Green Source DFW was created by Dr. Philip Shinoda, who had a vision of bringing together people that were activists, people like Yolanda Bluehorse, people like Jody Yellowfish, who are out there protesting energy transfer partners and advocating for us to understand that decisions being made that affect people around the world and inside our country are often being made right here in Dallas, Texas, in our own backyard. And if we can't be at the forefront of those protests, then we are not doing our job as environmentalists and human rights activists. It's also people that have been coming forward, like Harvey Lacey, like Dave Pennington, people that have inventing new ways to answer the needs, people that are inventing things here in our backyard that have helped people in Haiti, like Harvey Lacey's work with the, with schools down there that we were able to support. People like Dave Pennington, who are coming up with new forms of concrete that are actually not detrimental for the environment and salvage other things. It is up to all of you who have been playing roles of this. Wendell Withrow began as a volunteer, and now he has headed up the Green Source DFW initiative, which is growing at an unbelievable pace. As many of you are aware, 3 years ago, most of the environmental writers were fired from most of the major publications in Texas. Now, thankfully, the Dallas Morning News has gotten a new one. But where do people come from when they want to understand what is really happening in terms of the environment and how the environmental factors are affecting their well-being, including their human rights? Right here at Green Source DFW. Thanks to Julie Thibodeau and Wendell Withrow. And thanks to all the many volunteers like Juan Mancias and many, many others. And of course, our late Coke Buchanan, our spirit brother friend who continues to guide us, the spirit behind the Mimsy Institute, because he will always be an inspiration, and his family. We've also been able to bring in Oak Cliff Earth Day and take on the responsibility of working with the community of Oak Cliff to lead it to become even better every single year moving forward. So I just want to give you guys a little update of what Green Source DFW is doing. And also, I want to give you an update, a little sneak peek into where the Mimsy Institute sees our future going. Some of you who have been around us know that we have not only been involved in the environment locally, we've been involved in the environmental issues nationally and internationally. One of our first forays into the environment was negotiating the first treaty in 300 years between Hopi and Navajo nations, which also gave us an introduction as to how important social responsible investing is, largely because I found out that it was Peabody, Coal, and Blackstone, and a number of other companies that were actually causing such a horrible amount of uranium and arsenic poisoning in the Hopi and Navajo waters. And after we started learning about that, we ended up launching Dallas's first SRI conference, which was an incredible success, and we are deeply, deeply grateful to all the people who took a leadership role in that as well. But not only are we looking at things in terms of the investment side, in terms of the activist side, such as how we supported the legal teams up at Standing Rock, but we're also looking at how do we take it a step further? How do we take what the Mincy Institute has always called social acupuncture, and that's not just a term I'm throwing flippantly around, it's actually something that I've had a number of TEDx talks on that Joshua and I presented in other places, including at the United Nations, at the White House, House of Lords, and are working very closely with Thomas Johns, who is actually one of the proteges of Don Beck. That work is creating what is called the Vital Signs Monitor. The Vital Signs Monitor, just like the human body has vital signs, it looks at the vital signs of the collective community. Right now, Thomas Johns is taking all this incredible knowledge that he is learning with Don Beck, and he is taking that and putting it into an AI presentation. That AI is now being translated by Ars Electronica into a format that can be basically have intuitive design. The reason why you don't need a manual to understand your phone. That is going to be put into a holographic and virtual reality version. Right now, we're working with one of our board members, Adolfo Yuzu Audrey, who is head of overseeing implementing the Sustainability Development Goals for the entire country of Mexico, and is currently rewriting their constitution to include the SDGs. He's giving us this data so that Thomas can create this for an entire country. Once the AI understands how to correlate the SDGs for an entire country, and as Thomas says, it should be prescriptive as of next year, then the AI will have learned how to do this with any community, regardless of size, be it a small town or be it a country. And eventually you'll want to do this with the world. But the point is, the main place that this Vital Signs Monitor is going to be located is going to be here in Dallas, Texas. We are deeply grateful with Mr. Hogue, who is working with us to see whether or not this might just be something that we put here in his development downtown. If this works, our Center for Outreach will have a Vital Signs Monitor, and among many other things, and the kinds of data that it will be crunching in terms of showing the economics, in terms of showing different demographics, in terms of showing the environment, it will be highlighting exactly how increasing one type of industry or another has such and such effect on our economy and on the environment. And I love what Thomas calls it. Just like we have a GDP, he talks about something that he's calling the big ass problem, the BAP. Basically, if you end up looking at the GDP of an oil spill, it looks like it's profitable because it makes a lot of money in terms of having to clean that oil spill up. But with the BAP, you'll be able to see the cost to the environment, the cost to local fishermen, the cost of all the other ways that it affects people and the planet and the animals living in that area. These are things that we all need to have in order to be even more effective human rights activists. Our goal is to make this public, our goal is to make it interactive, our goal is to make it easy and accessible. So I just want you to know some of the things that are coming down the pike at the Mincy Institute and how we hope that it will end up empowering every single one of you in the things that you are doing in your work. I want to encourage every single one of you, we're standing up for what you're doing because not one of us can stand up for all of us. However, it takes all of us so that every single one of us has an even stronger voice. So that's how important you are. Right now, make no bones about it, there is a huge, huge change happening in our country. People are more interconnected now than ever. And while on the downside of that, that is affecting the way people deal with issues of race, the way people deal with issues of diversity in general. However, it also is giving all of us in the environmental world an opportunity that we must take the responsibility upon ourselves to take full advantage of. And that is the opportunity to shape history. Do we want to be a leading voice in the nation? Because whether or not we want to, guess what? So many of the industries that we're concerned about, so many decisions being made that we're concerned about that affect our country, affect our state, and affect the world are being made right here in DFW. If we are not taking the reins of responsibility for being that voice that says, is this a good thing to do? Does this affect lives? Does this affect the planet? Does this affect animals? Does this affect the well-being of plants and of our species as a whole? If we are not asking those questions, then who will? We need to have a very strong voice here. We need to hold ourselves accountable, and it begins with you and me. And the way we make sure that happens and continues to happen is with continual study, such as what the Vital Signs Monitor will allow us to do, and with raising our voices in constant, consistent, respectful, and informed communication. And that is what Green Source DFW is there for. It is there to support you and your voice. So I want to thank you for what you're doing, and I want to encourage every single one of you to continue to take a stand, to continue to protest. And when Jody comes out and uses that drum, understand also the cultural context. Native Americans and the USA rarely use a drum unless they are announcing there is a war. A war, in this term, means that we are concerned and standing up for the well-being of our brothers and sisters around the globe, as well as for those, as our Native Americans would say, are the finned, the two-legged, the four-legged, and the winged. We need to take a stand for all of them. So, much love to you, much respect to you. Please know that as I'm at the UN, I will be knowing that I am there in no small part because of the work every single one of you are doing. You are helping to make Texas a place of the future that we all want to be in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Since they're not here, we can talk about them too. Last year, a buddy of mine was here and heard Mary Ann speak, and he knew nothing about any of our groups. And I talked to him later, and he goes, "She's really smart." I said, "Yeah, she is really smart." And obviously really, really very passionate. And we are very lucky, and that's the other thing.
Dallas, it's Mary.
Hello. Yeah. The other thing that she hates for me to say, but I'll say it because she's not here, and so does Joshua, their generosity in funding not only Green Source DFW, but Food Source DFW, and several other multiple programs in Mexico and Japan and all over the world. Their generosity is far more than I could ever even think about. So when you see Mary Ann, obviously give her that thank you for all the things that she does to help, again, in so many different areas. Okay, let's get on to some awards. All right, the first category is environmental reporting, but I want to talk just for 1 second about the awards process because some people have had questions about this. They were asking me if we had the Ouija board back there. I said, no, it's not a Ouija board, at least not quite. But the first thing many of you know is it starts with the nomination process. We put out the word to the entire green community to nominate people that they believe who are showing leadership or innovation in their particular area. Once the nominations happen, it's usually August and September, we have the voting, and the voting is open, and you are more than willing to and able to stuff the electronic ballot box as much as you want for your nominee or for your friends. But obviously that's not terribly fair, so once we get the 3 top vote getters, the 3 finalists, which we have here, the 3 finalists go to our secret panel of judges. How many judges did we have this year, Julie? Six judges this year, of which I know none. So we try to keep it as fair as we possibly can. They are given a detailed ballot that has, 10 or 20 questions and categories for them to rate the nominees, and then all those 6 judges, their ballots are tabulated, and that's how we come up with the winner. We have an occasional tie, in which then we definitely do use the Ouija board method, and we select it. But this year we had no ties this year, and but we had incredibly close races, which is pretty normal because everybody that's a finalist is a top in their area. So, environmental reporting. First of all, we have Ben Sandifer. Ben is back in the back. Raise your hand, Ben. Ben is the founder of the Dallas Trinity Trails blog. He's a local citizen watchdog for the Great Trinity Forest. Through his blog and tweets, he's alerted the media and the city of Dallas to illegal dumping. I just can't believe there'd be illegal dumping down there. In the Great Trinity Forest, illegal turtle harvesting in White Rock Lake, and called out other abuses to the Trinity River bottoms. If you recall some of the more public problems they're having down there. Some of their city workers seem to not figure out what they're supposed to bulldoze and what they're not. And we can all thank Ben for stepping up to fight that incredible stupidity. Second of all, Randy Loftus. Randy was the environmental reporter at the Dallas Morning News for 26 years. And for those of you who were green before it was cool to be green, you know that also Randy was one of the first ones willing to take a stand, put his name on the byline on the front page of the Dallas Morning News to let all of us know that there was some very bad stuff that was going on. And he, much like our speaker 2 years ago, Howard Garrett, you know, there was a time when to be on the forefront of the green movement wasn't to be on the in crowd. You were vilified for even thinking that that chemicals and pesticides couldn't solve everything. So Randy is now retired from Dallas Morning News. He's doing some independent work, and he's also teaching a class at the University of North Texas, which I believe is where he's at tonight. Third, and certainly not least, Julie Ryan. Julie is here. Where's Julie? Julie, back here. Julie's an independent environmental reporter, written about everything from monarch conservation, sustainable gardening, climate change, environmental bills at the legislature. She reports in mainstream media and she's also formerly with Dallas Morning News, Texas Parks and Wildlife, D Magazine, Observer, Fort Worth Weekly, and is also a regular contributor to Green Source DFW. And that's our three environmental reporting. And the winner is Randy Loftus. Randy has basically, again, Randy's an icon because he was the first. You know, he was the first to tackle these issues in a very tough market. Did anybody make it here tonight from Randy's crew? Nobody. All right, well, we'll give his award to somebody else. No, sorry, Randy, we wouldn't do that. I'm actually in a better mood tonight. I got to eat tonight. Last year, I didn't get to eat. Somebody said I was a little surly, but that's okay. I'm better tonight. All right, let's go on to the next category. Next category is environmental science and innovation. And for those of you who follow our awards, you'll say, these are all new categories. Yes, they are new categories. We're trying to spread out. We're trying to be a little more on the cutting edge of what's going on. Environmental science and innovation. Finalist, DFW Air Research Consortium. They're a partnership of local universities, municipalities, nonprofit groups, citizens aimed at monitoring air quality in North Texas. I can't believe they think we need to monitor it, but I guess we do. The group is led by Dr. David Larry of UTD. Is Dr. David here tonight? Yes, back there at his table. Dr. Larry is one of the nation's foremost authorities on environmental sensors and monitoring, and he is one of our local new heroes that we all look forward to, we all look to help for. Okay, number two, Lori De La Cruz Lewis. Lori is the Sustainability Project Coordinator for Mountain View College in Dallas and co-chair of DCCD Sustainability Team. For those of you who don't know, our local community college group, with Georgianne as one of its main people, is a trailblazer, is an educational trailblazer in making the commitment that we do need sustainability directors at these various schools, that you can save money and save the planet and teach these young people where their future needs to be. And we really are all indebted. We're very lucky to have that commitment from the community college district. Third, and again, certainly not least, good work. Good work, Amy King. I think Amy probably is not here tonight. I think she sent a substitute. But we have some of our other people. Oh, there we go. We do have their table back there. Good work, King, along with investor Steve Kinder and Green Architect, another one of our longtime friends and award winners, Gary Olp. They turned an abandoned building into a model of sustainable, eco-friendly design with offices and event space. And this is the one I was talking about that's just south of downtown Dallas. If you've not been there, it's amazing. Once you get a toehold, even in a neighborhood that's maybe more industrial, maybe a little run down, you get a toehold there and you start building new, modern structures, although this is more of a renovated structure, the whole neighborhood begins to change. And we owe good work, definitely a bit of gratitude for taking that financial and very innovative risk. And the winner is DFW Research Consortium. Come on up. Just like the old days, we have to cover them up to keep everybody. Good grief. All right. Sir, let's see. Hold on, we'll get a picture here. Would you like to say a word or two? Sorry. Thank you so much. It was on. You want to step up? That one working really good.
Well, thank you all. I really appreciate it. So our shared vision is really to empower people with sensing capabilities that we can all make data-driven decisions of things that matter to us. For example, we use every day probably our phones to find the shortest route between two places. But how about if we had the least polluted route? So if you want to go for a walk or a run or take the grandkids out, what would that route look like? So our goal is to have an open platform with sensing capabilities that can range from the low cost to much more expensive ones in like an ordered hierarchy, so that it's possible for an individual or a community group to basically have a sensor in their house or on the street corner, so we can all know what we're breathing and we can make more informed choices and decisions. So that's basically what we're at.
If you haven't figured out, the awards are hand-carved in, I believe, Minnesota or North Dakota and sent down here, and they are heavy. They're, Mary Ann insisted that we only do the best, and we appreciate that. Next category, conservation activist. The first finalist is Steve Hauser. Steve has been advocating for trees in North Texas for more than 30 years. He volunteered much of his time and effort over the past 15 years to the updated Dallas Tree Ordinance, and we all know what a battle that was, which was finally passed by the Dallas City Council earlier this year. He's also the co-founder of the Texas Historic Tree Coalition, a statewide tree advocacy group, and a co-author of a book on Indian marker trees. Number two, Groundwork Dallas. Over here. Groundwork Dallas aims to regenerate, sustain, and improve the Dallas Elm Fork Greenbelt and Great Trinity Forest by developing community-based partnerships that educate and empower people, businesses, and organizations to promote environmental stewardship. The nonprofit removes 35,000 tons of trash per year from the Trinity. Gives you an idea of the scope of the problem that these people have tackled. Number three, Don and Deborah Young. Don and Deborah Young are true pioneers of the North Texas green community. 2004, they founded the Friends of Tandy Hills Natural Area in response to the arrival of urban drilling in Fort Worth. They launched the earliest protest against fracking in the area to help protect the last remnants of the prairie in Fort Worth. I remember this very well. It's the same kind of deal. They started, sounding the alarm for fracking before a lot of the other groups were fully aware of just how dangerous it was. And those were pretty lonely times for them to go out on the limb like that. In 2006, they created Prairie Fest at Tandy Hills, which is a green festival now on a 10-year run. And they hosted the largest bio blitz ever held in North Texas to launch data collection of species at Tandy Hills. They are fully dedicated to introducing thousands of school kids to the prairie and helping to create the next generation of conservationists and environmentalists. Drum roll, and the winner is Don and Deborah Young. Are they here tonight? Did they make it? Somebody's back there. I see them. Come get your award, please, because I'm not carrying them home. We'll see if we've got a mic working here yet. Who's going to talk? Can you tell us, Deborah? Not you? You got it?
The word that comes to mind is gratifying. I think the most gratifying thing is that I'm standing here with my wife, Deborah, of 36 years. And I want to thank Ron John of Bendari. I also want to thank Ron John of Bendari of Livable Arlington for nominating us. And,
Is it working?
Okay, the other gratifying thing is that, as he said earlier, in 2004 when we started, virtually none of the environmental groups in this area paid attention to fracking. And so it's gratifying to receive this award tonight after so many years of thrashing away and trying to raise awareness. We did have a few victories along the way, especially at Tandy Hills. But thank you very much for this award.
Thank you so much. I think we may have to retire the old... All right. Next category. Green project or program. We have 4 finalists because we had a tie, so we have 4 finalists. Promise of Peace Gardens. Promise of Peace Gardens was founded by Elizabeth Dry in 2019. Today it operates 3 community gardens in the Dallas area, focused on teaching children about the importance of choosing a healthy lifestyle and caring for both the people and the natural world. Very important. All 3 gardens are located in food deserts and add more than 2,500 square feet of crop growing space and much needed fresh fruits and vegetables for the communities nearby, while teaching participants how they can grow some of their own healthy food. They work hand in hand with our food source DFW, which Dr. Todd Collier, who can't be here tonight, is so deeply involved. Number 2, DFW Solar Tour, North Texas' premier energy event, now the largest solar and renewable energy tour in Texas, ranked 3rd in the U.S., now in its 9th year, grown from a few sites with the first solar installations to over 50 sites spread out over 5 North Texas counties. This unique self-guided open house event includes homes, schools, colleges, businesses, municipal site. It's a massive undertaking with over 150 volunteers. Number 3, the Environmental League. Dallas-based Environmental League is dedicated to organizing middle and high school clubs focused on cleanup projects, environmental awareness, and immersive nature trips for urban students, many of whom are growing increasingly out of touch with our natural heritage. The fledgling 2017-18 school year, initial membership of 44 students across 2 chapters at Conrad High School and Hillcrest High School. They had several cleanup efforts, removing over 700 50-gallon bags of litter from 2 Dallas sites. They just spoke to Sierra Club last month, and the passion of these folks, it gives you hope in our country, and it gives you hope in our youth. Fourth, and certainly not least, Denton Embassy Suites. I think Denton is here back there. Is one of the newest projects by Tim O'Reilly and the O'Reilly Hospitality Management Team. It is the second LEED certified hotel project in North Texas and one of the many of his total LEED projects throughout the United States. The hotel and convention center are currently under review to obtain gold LEED certification. And at last count, there was less than 70 hotels in the U.S. that have gotten to that level. And this goes hand in hand, much like EarthX, that the business community, we can't all make it as individuals. The business community and the local environmental activists have got to work together to solve this mess we've got ourselves in. And the winner is of Green Project or Program, Promise of Peace Gardens. Who do we have? Somebody coming up? Don't be shy. All right, you have to come up. We want everybody to hear you. You'll do fine. Okay. Here we go. All right, all yours.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It is a true honor. I didn't expect it, but I do want to say something that we really need you to stand by us, because less than a mile from here is a food desert, and we will not stop until we get good, clean, healthy food on every child's plate. And no child should have to cry themselves to sleep at night because they're hungry. And through growing their food, they also protect the planet, because they are our future. And so that's what we're trying to develop, but we need you. So thank you so much for this honor. Thank you, Green Source, and everybody here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can I walk
You go
down
down
first?
first, yeah. I do have some news that we need to talk about, talking about food deserts. Food Source DFW, one of its big projects always is to deliver fresh vegetables to food desert areas. And they have worked closely with a number of the food banks, and one of those basically food banks / food distributors to the poorest of the poor is at Inspired Vision Church out there in southeast Dallas in Pleasant Grove. We just learned in the last couple of weeks that Inspired Vision Church has now obtained a building. They were working literally out of the parking lot of a tiny, tiny church. Everything was outside. Effectively nothing was undercover, winter, summer, rain or shine. And they actually set a record last week, serving over 1,200 families in one day. That's amazing that they did that, but it's also it's terrifying that we have 1,200 families in need just going to that one place. But they have now obtained a large warehouse-sized building, which will be renovated, and I'm sure there'll be fundraising going on, but to get their operation out of a parking lot and inside. And we all have Todd Collier and all the people at Inspired Vision and Mimosine, of course, to thank. All right, on to the meat of our awards. Volunteers are our lifeblood. Coke Buchanan's not here. I had planned on Coke Buchanan being an award winner in another category that we'll get to, but he's not with us. So Coke, you're not here, so we're just gonna have to name an award after you. So the Coke Buchanan Volunteer of the Year Award finalist, David Griggs. David Griggs is an attorney here in Dallas. He's an instructor in government at Brookhaven College. He's been an environmental activist in Dallas for more than 20 years. I think that's not long enough, David. I'm sorry. I think you've done more than that. Campaigning against polluters as well as promoting environmentally responsible initiatives. He lobbies for environmental bills before legislatures, testifies before the Railroad Commission, TCEQ, EPA. He's the current political chair of the Dallas Sierra Club for over a decade, and he played a significant role in helping Dallas elect a city council devoted to sound environmental policies. He's the founder of Sierra Club's PAC, Turn Texas Green, which helps endorse candidates with funds for their campaigns. And I think we can all say from this last election that David did yeoman's duty along with probably nearly everyone in this room. Number 2, Evelyn Mayo. Did Evelyn make it tonight? We have Evelyn, thank you. At age 23, it was on, we have to tell them that because that was on here. Maybe one of the youngest environmental organizers in DFW, but she has the bearing of a veteran eco-warrior. Arriving in Dallas fresh out of college, she joined the board of Downwinders at Risk and helped revitalize that group by leading it into new areas of program work and attracting a team of 20 and 30-something women, and I'm sure men also, to join her. Number 3, Whitney Wolf. Whitney, with us tonight? All right, some people retire when they retire, not Whitney Wolf. After a 2-year breather following 40-plus years with AT&T, she went on to become communications director at the North Texas chapter of Texas Master Naturalist. Her business and production acumen make operations for the Master Naturalists stay on track and focused because their communications are clear. And we have a winner, David Griggs. I'll make you carry your own, big boy. I told you. Here, David, why don't you use the, David, let's use the mic.
Well, thank you, Wendell, and the Men's Lean Institute and Green Source DFW. What a wonderful honor. I want to say this to begin with. Last year at the Oak Cliff Earth Day, I had the honor of meeting and working with Coke. And that's what is so wonderful about this award, that it's named in his honor and memory. Coke was taking down all of the tables. You know, at Oak Cliff Earth Day, there were all these 6-foot tables at all these different booths. And somehow Coke was the one who was taking them all down. And I went up, I said, "Do you need some help?" And he said, "Yes, please, help me." And so I spent 15 or 20 minutes helping Coke take down all the tables, and we kind of got to know each other. So it is a wonderful honor to receive an award named in his memory. Thank you very much for this recognition. We did have a good election. Things went pretty well for us in retrospect. We didn't win everything, but I think in the legislature at least, we're going to have several more friendly faces that hopefully will do our bidding and get more recognition to environmental causes, to fight the forces that we find always against us. So thanks again to Green Source DFW. What a great honor. Thank you, Wendell.
Let's get a quick picture. Yeah, he's actually being a little too modest about the election. We got rid of at least 3 major pro-pollution, 2 state reps and a U.S. representative that David had a huge hand in raising funds, raising awareness, and raising people. We're working at least 7 days a week. Our next award is our newest award, but maybe our most important. It's where intentions meet the hard reality that polluters target certain communities that cannot fight back. But now they can fight back, and they do fight back. This is an award, and we had a lot of discussion about this at Mimnazine and Green Source. This is an award for an entire community. This community has risen up to fight back. It is part of Councilman Kevin Felder's. Did you make it, Councilman? I know he had 2 or 3 other events this same night, but part of his District 7, this year's Environmental Justice Award, it was unanimous. It has never happened before. The unanimous winner goes to the Joppy community. And we want everyone, anyone from the Joppy community, to please come forward to get this award. Any other Joppy? Do we have other Joppy residents here? Please, this is a community award. Anyone else from the Joppy area? I thought we had some other people. All right. Tamika, tell them who you are.
Good evening. I'm Tamika Durrell, and I'm from the Joppy community. And I know a lot of people in this room that helped the Joppy community and stood at arms with us on March the 28th for the victory of Joppy, keeping the environment, getting the environment together. We haven't just got it all cleaned up over there, but that was the first step on March the 28th, defeating that zoning permit. And I want to thank everyone. I am so shocked about this award because we're being recognized, and we're a small community of Black people, and we thought, a lot of them didn't think we had a voice, but we had one with David, and here in the Sierra Club. It's a lot of people in this room that inspired us and helped us defeat this environment injustice in our community, and this award is so unexpected tonight. I thought I was just coming. So, that's why I stand here like this, because you never know who's recognizing you. All right, Miss Julie, yes. So thank everyone in this room.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Mary.
Mary.
Both of them.
Tamika, you did this. Tamika really, really got out there and she worked hard. She made a lot of meetings. Tamika is married, have children, have grandchildren. She's in school. But every time there was a meeting that she needed to go to, she did that. And not only were we fighting against environmental injustice, but people in our community. And she stood and she spoke out. And I'm like, this girl is like me when I was a little kid. She's my daughter's age. And I'm like, look, I'm gonna back you. I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna help support you. And that's what I really just wanna be, you know, pretty much in the background. But you're an unsung hero as far as I'm concerned, my sister. Bless you.
Oh, my God.
Hi, I'm Thunder Walker, and she follows me on Facebook, but I grew up in Joppy. I went to church in Joppy, and we did so many different things. And when she saw me in line, she said, oh my goodness. And I just really want to thank her for everything that you've done. Every Thursday, I always talk about pushing forward and not giving up, no matter how you think something is very small, it's bigger in a bigger way. And I just really, really want to thank you for pushing forward and making sure that my hometown where I worshiped and I grew up and had a foundation about Christ and about believing in the Lord as a little bitty child and being an usher because I could not sing, it allowed me to have a great time. And so just thank you. Thank you so much. And I really thank Joppy too for just really shaping little girls and little boys to be able to grow up and reach our dreams and where we want to be in life. Thank you so much.
We'll get a quick picture. I will tell you, there was some discussion about whether to give an award to an entire community. And we heard that maybe there was some disagreements within the Joppy community about the best way to proceed for environmental reasons or political reasons or whatever. And I would only tell you this: if you stay around the environmental community long enough, you will find that we disagree a lot. We are passionate people. We disagree in methods. We disagree in degrees. We are passionate people. But I will tell you, we always have the same goal in sight, and that is clean water, clean air, a sustainable way of living, no matter whether you're South Dallas or North Dallas or anything in between. And that's why we're here tonight. And whatever controversy there might be, I think the Joppy community deserves, major recognition for what they've done. We have a couple more awards, and then we'll get on to our speaker and to our very incredible entertainment tonight. The first is the Founders Award. Again, this was an award that I had hoped that Coke would be here to receive, but he's not. So we have to go to another founder of Mimnazine and Green Source DFW. It's this particular person has the thankless job of herding the cats of our organization. His patience is endless and leadership is rock solid. He's also not here because he's with Mary Ann herding those cats in New York. But the winner of the Founders Award is Philip Collins, our Executive Director. Again, his patience is amazing, given the people that sit around that table. Not you, Anthony, so I don't know. Unsung Hero Award. This is possibly my most favorite award because it is the essence of the conservation fight against the polluters, strip miners, frackers, and anyone else trying to destroy this planet for profit. It is David versus Goliath, and David still wins in this story. Short video.
Precious memory.
You don't get paid for this?
Unseen angel.
Don't make a dime. Just a pleasure of doing it, getting having a different neighborhood.
Sent from somewhere to my soul.
A lot of people think I'm crazy for doing what I do. But if I didn't do what I do, what would it look like? Think about it. I'm a full-time volunteer. Do many things. Go around the neighborhood, crime watch for Dallas Police. I'm the eyes and ears for the Dallas Police Department. If I see something suspicious, I report it. I do VNA meals, deliver about 80 meals a week. I find litter or anything. I'm trying to educate people on litter control. I put in about 250 hours every month on average. I get up about anywhere from 2 o'clock in the morning to 5 a.m. and get in the truck and I have my coffee and I got a CD, Alan Jackson, Precious Memories. I'm out driving, I'm relaxed, I love it, it's peaceful out there. Because the people that puts them out usually lives in different neighborhoods, but they come over here and put the signs up over here. Usually this is kind of referred to as low-income area, what have you, and that's ones they pick on, and they don't live here. They don't got to look at it, but we got to look at it. And code compliance recognized me for what I picked up. I got first place. Got a new barbecue grill and tree trimmer. With code compliance, and that's very nice. And city councilman recognized me here a while back, a few months ago, what I do for the city, the community, and everything. And that was very nice. It was at City Hall. I got in this not for no rewards. I got in it for the benefit of doing something, making a difference in the neighborhood.
Precious memories, how they linger.
Kenneth Wynn, we don't think you're crazy. We think you're awesome. We think you are our Unsung Hero Award, and we want you to come on up. All yours, my friend.
I'm not meant to talking. Wasn't expecting this. I'm very thankful. I just try and have something a little different in the neighborhood and making a difference for, I'm 74 years old. I still put in about 200 hours a month. I do Uber and Lyft at night, about 3 o'clock in the morning. I used to go out and do patrol, but they call me a sign exterminator. I've took down over 50,000 signs and counting. And they put up high on telephone poles. I got something I can go up high with, a telescoping pole, I'm pop them off. I go out wee hours, take them things down. Last weekend I took down 250 on Sunday, wee hours before I go to church. I drive Uber, Lyft. I had an electrical business 50 years in Dallas. I'm retired. And so I'm trying to make a difference for what left I have, and which I plan on growing old and older, but anyway, I don't know what to say. I just love this. Thank you very much. Thank everybody.
I think we all see the message here is really clear. Whether it's Kenneth or the Joppy community, one person makes a difference. One person can take the lead. One person can do incredible work and look at the result. Our final award is the Corporate Trailblazer Award. Again, when Green Source DFW was first talked about, that was one of its bedrock premises, is that the green business community needed to collaborate and cooperate with the green activists. And they play a key role in cleaning up this mess. Each year, we choose a local business that takes the lead in creating sustainable business models. And again, we're old meets new tonight. This is the new Treehouse Corporate Trailblazer Award, and our keynote speaker, Karen Troop.
Hello, and thank you for having us here tonight. First of all, I have to say that it is such an inspirational group, the people we're sitting at the table. What all of you do on a daily basis is just awe-inspiring, and I think we are all very grateful. So I'm Karen Stroop, and accepting this award on behalf of Treehouse. So also want to say thank you to Green Source DFW. Not only have you welcomed us to Dallas when we moved to Dallas in the last couple of years, but also just for the inspiration and information you give to Dallas. So for those of you who don't know, Treehouse is in the business of reimagining home renovation. Our mission is to make homes more beautiful, healthy, and sustainable. And the reason that we've approached this is when you look at houses, homes are one of the biggest consumers of energy, and there are a lot of toxins in the home. And a lot of times when people go to redo their home, remodel, renovate, they're making decisions on design and aesthetic and budget, but sustainability doesn't enter into the equation. And there's a lot that people can do when they're upgrading their home to really upgrade it, not just from the look and feel, but also from how the home performs. And so that is why Treehouse focused on the home remodel and upgrade process. So we do two types of upgrades. We do a remodel and we do energy performance. And so we came to Dallas a few years ago, a year and a half ago, as a matter of fact, and we started by building a flagship store on Walnut Hill. And it was really important to us that the store not only manifest our mission, but be an inspiration. So for those of you who have not been to the store, it actually is fully powered by solar panels. We have 539 solar panels on the store. And on an average day, we contribute 30 to 40% of the energy back to the Dallas grid. So we are super proud of that. It was really important from a mission perspective, but that wasn't the only thing that we did in the store. We also, and excuse my language here, it's a brand name, not my language, but we have big ass fans, it's a brand, circulating in the roof so that cools the store on average so we don't have to use as much energy. And we have a lot of windows for natural light, and for the artificial light we have, it's on timers, so if you don't move for 15 minutes, the lights go off. And so the whole store is built in a sustainable way, but also everything in the store is meant to educate people on living a healthier and more sustainable life. And so while some people have the means, the budget, and it's the right time to renovate their home, like not everyone is ready for that. And so when you come into the store, you can do little things. You can have the cleaning supplies you use, the fans in your home, the light bulbs you use, the water that you drink, the air that you breathe. We have it's almost an array of little things you can do to make your life healthier and more sustainable every step of the way, all the way to if you want to redo your kitchen. And so that was sort of the mission behind this, and we wanted to build the store in a way that inspires people, to help them think in a different way about when they're redoing their home, they should think about other things in the equation. And the receptivity in Dallas has been really awesome, which has been super cool. So I only joined Treehouse a few months ago, about 4 months ago, and after spending 20 plus years in corporate America. And when I was approached with the opportunity to work at Treehouse, it was the right time and place for me. So I have 3 kids, 6, 8, and 10. And as I thought about how I spent my time being a role model to my children, to how I want them to grow up, this opportunity to work at a company that has sustainability at its heart really appealed to me. And so, as with many young companies, I wear multiple hats. So I lead all of our technology, current state, and imagining future experiences, as well as our marketing efforts. And so we're talking today about how the digital and the physical meet and come together, and how business and sustainability come together. And as I was thinking about that in preparation for tonight, it really struck me that, you know, the fundamental business questions that a corporation faces, and the ones that we face from a sustainability and mission, are actually very similar. Like, we have to figure out, one, what is the outcome we want to achieve? Who are we solving for? So who are our customers, and what matters to them? And so I thought I'd share a little bit about Treehouse's approach, which has been really interesting and I really appreciate. So we have a director of sustainability, Jesse, who lives in Austin, and as I said, our mission is to make homes more beautiful, healthy, and sustainable. And so whenever we decide what products we're going to carry, what processes we're going to do to demo a house, to install tile, to do any of that, we always go through a sustainability filter. How are products made? Where are the products coming from? Are they shipping overseas? The labor involved. We have a list of about 20 things that we filter all of our vendors on. And we make sure that we are choosing really good products. But what's really interesting to me is we had to make a decision about what impact we want to make. What's the outcome we're solving for? And we want to do as many home remodels in DFW as we can because we want as many of the home remodels to be done in a sustainable way. And so what's really interesting about that is sustainability is a spectrum. If you think about all the things that go into a home remodel, there are hundreds of choices that people are making. And it's forced us as a business to make some really interesting decisions. But knowing that we want to do as many remodels as we can has really helped. So I'll give you a couple specific examples of the reality of the business world and sustainability. So, bathtubs. Is taking a bath good for the environment? In general, Jesse would say, no, we don't really support bathtubs. That said, we are in a home remodeling business, and if you're going to redo someone's master bath, most bathrooms have a spot for a bathtub. And so if we don't sell bathtubs, we probably aren't going to win the remodel. And so we've had to make a decision, say, okay, you know what, we will sell a bathtub, even though it's not exactly what we'd want to do. But everything else that surrounds it is better than the alternative. And so we're making a big step forward in terms of that home. And we have our cleaning company says that most people don't actually use their bathtubs, they vacuum them instead of washing them, so we feel better about that too. Another example is if you think about a kitchen, there are all of the decisions that are made in the kitchen. What cabinets do you use? What material do you use for the countertops? What appliances do you use? What do you use for your floor? All of the things that are used to apply that. What glues and toxins are in that? But we faced a decision about faucets. So we, for a period of time, offered WaterSense faucets, which are the best faucets from a sustainability perspective. But our customers came to us and said, we don't like the faucet. It doesn't function well, and we want other design choices. And so we had to make a decision of, do we lose the whole kitchen remodel for a faucet, or do we solve for the bigger good? And so we've made these decisions repeatedly about what is that intersection of how much impact can we make? Similarly, when we talk about who are we solving for, who are our customers, there's some really interesting questions that come up. Do we target people that only want a green or sustainable home renovation? So we could call ourselves Treehouse, the Sustainable Home Upgrade Company. And we've talked about it, and perhaps we should. But if you go out and target that, particularly in Dallas, that's not a huge population yet. Or we can target the people who want a home remodel and figure out what they want. And every house that we touch, we are making a better impact because there are very few people who do sustainable remodels in Dallas. And so we've made the decision that we want to target the broader population and educate them at the same time that we're doing the home remodel. And so that leads us to a question of, what do people care about? We have some people who come into the store because they care deeply and passionately about the sustainability focus, and we love that. There are other people who come into the store who aren't as educated on it, and we love that too because we have an opportunity to share the message with people who wouldn't otherwise know that. And so as a couple of examples, well, I will start by saying in corporate America, I spend a lot of time following customers around. Sounds creepy, but it's a really good thing. Understanding what matters to people, what pain they feel from their perspective as opposed to from the company perspective. And when you do that, you're trying to distill down to what matters most to the customers. And what we found at Treehouse is people care deeply about having a beautiful design. Like if they're going to spend all this money on a new kitchen or bath, they want it to look good. They want the project to be done on time and on budget. They want to have confidence throughout it. And the sustainability is an awesome extra benefit. And so as we go about this from a business perspective, we have to deliver on all those things. And in talking to our customers, what's really cool is hearing people who would never have said sustainability matters to them. After the renovation is done, you go into their home and they are proud about the fact that everything's sustainable. When they walk you around their kitchen, Kendall's with me here tonight, and we were at a customer's kitchen at his house, but specifically in his kitchen, earlier this week. And he's so proud about the new kitchen. He wants to show it off, and he's bragging about it. And then he can go and say, hey, and everything in this kitchen is sustainable, and start talking about it. And this is not someone who ever would have chosen that, He randomly entered our store because he thought it was a bar and he wanted to get a beer. So, we'll take people however we can get them. But he was converted to both someone who's an advocate for Treehouse, but also a much more informed customer at this point. And so when you think about how this manifests itself and how we spread the word about sustainability and Treehouse in today's world, there are more channels available than ever before. So you have digital sources that we'll put out on Instagram, and we'll have some messages about beautiful design, we'll have some messages about sustainability. So we'll use those channels, but at the end of the day, it's about an experience that people want to talk about. If you're going to have someone come work in your home, you have to have a great experience, and you want that person to refer you. And you want them to be advocates of your message and people who become, people who are spreading the word about your brand. And so when I think about the intersection of digital and physical, they both matter. With the digital channel, you can be really targeted. So you would have no idea how targeted you can be. Like, hey, I want to talk to people who are in these neighborhoods and these zip codes who have a house that's 15 years old or older. You can get really, really targeted in the digital channel. And then you have the opportunity to know who those people are and give a message that resonates with them. But at the end of the day, I still think it's about the relationship that you're building, the mission behind the company, and the message that you're putting forth. And so, for Treehouse, first of all, thank you again for the award. But I would say, the intersection of business and having a platform where we can reach more people by being really clear about what we want to solve for is enabling us to make more impact in Dallas. So, thank you very much.
Now we have the introduction to the introduction. From the book Mother Earth Spirituality, Native American Paths to Healing Ourselves and Our World by Ed McGaw Eagleman. A question that will be asked is, why am I willing to teach non-Indians about Native American spirituality and about my own spiritual experiences? Answer: we do not have any choice. It is one world that we live in. If the Native Americans keep all their spirituality within their own community, the old wisdom that has performed so well will not be allowed to work its environmental medicine on the world where it is desperately needed. Global warming, acid rain, overpopulation, and deforestation are real. It is a mess, and all of us two-leggeds will have to work together to get ourselves out of it. A spiritual fire that promotes a communal commitment to a worldwide environmental undertaking is needed. Native or primal ways will fuel that fire and give it a great power. I call on all experienced Native American traditionalists to consider coming forward and sharing their knowledge. Come forth and teach how Mother Earth can be revered, respected, and protected. Tonight, we are incredibly honored to have Yolanda Bluehorse, the winner of the Justice Seeker of the Year award from the Dallas Peace and Justice Center just last year. Yolanda is a member of the Rosebud Sioux tribe. She is a co-founder of the Society of Native Nations in Texas, a group dedicated to advocating for Native people and the earth by helping to protect and preserve culture, spirituality, teachings, medicine, and way of life. I give you Yolanda Bluehorse to introduce the rest of our program this evening. Sorry, no award, Yolanda. I'm sorry. I screwed up there. I apologize. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yolanda Bluehorse. I am a member of the Rosebud Sioux Reservation. I am Sakanju Lakota, which we no longer use the word Sioux anymore when we introduce ourselves. It's a pleasure to be here in front of all of you, and if I sound nervous, this never gets any easier. So, you know, I was thinking about what to talk tonight about, and the first thing is, you know, when I see what has happened in Joppa, it's the same thing that has happened to my own people. You know, a couple years ago, it's coming up on a couple years now, what happened up at Standing Rock was straight environmental racism. There's no going around it. And why, what I'm here to talk to you just for a little bit about is why was that so important? But not only the fact that there was a pipeline that was going through there, but the pipeline was put near a Native American reservation. And if you remember why these reservations were formed, was to get us, my people, corralled. But they were putting that, and these reservations, they're not rich. They're not rich at all. They're the most, some of them can be the most depressing areas you go through. The reservation I'm from, it is very depressing. It's sad that once a very rich people, not materialistic, but very culturally rich people were, now they're forced to be this. And we still struggle to hang on to our ways. But they put a pipeline next to a group of people that are living in impoverished conditions. And what they were putting that pipeline through was they were going to end up digging up our graves of our elders, of our ancestors, and there were sacred sites that are on there in that area that they were going to go through, which they did. That's why we fight so hard. And we fight to save Mother Earth, Unchimaka. That's how you say it in Lakota. That's all, being down here in Texas, what I saw going on happening to my people up there, which they're on a different reservation, but we're all the great Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota, or in English you would say we're all the great Sioux Nation up there. It was very hard for me to watch my people get hurt. And that's what got me into this and hit where I am today. What I wanted to bring attention to you all is to kind of, you know, places we go as the Native American community here in the Dallas area, you know, we do different things like this. We go different places, and one of the things people don't realize is that, you know, we still exist. We get other questions of, you know, do you all still live in teepees back on the reservations? You know, I had one lady come up and wanted to touch my hair because she's never touched a Native American before. So it's certain things like that, and this is today, this is what we face today. So when we get an opportunity, we try to bring our culture to you so we can allow you to experience what we fight for so hard. And this is just one of the aspects of our culture. Now, for different tribes, there are different beliefs, there are different meanings. So what means to me, to the Lakota people, one thing is not the same for the Comanches, the Navajos, any of them. So that's one thing I wanted to show you, teach you all today, is we're not all the same. What you'll see tonight is a group here in the Dallas area that has been able to keep their songs, and he'll explain to you about the songs. But I wanted you all to experience our music and how powerful it is. The beat of it, if you listen to it, it will hit you right here. I wanted to say one more thing before I introduce Lance to come on. When I was walking through here, You walk in, you know, you come in through the front, the first thing you hear is water. You hear that water. You know we have to survive. We have to have the water. We have to have the air. We have to start standing up. We have to keep fighting. Because what they're doing in Joppa is the same thing what they did to my people up there. And they'll continue. And we have to learn how to find a different way to survive environmentally. So I will introduce to you Lance Tachawika. He is a member of the Comanche Nation. His group called Sidewinders is going to give you a couple songs, and he'll go more into explaining to you about what he is going to sing.
Can everyone hear me? Well, perfect. All right. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say it's very humbling and an honor to be in a room with so many people that actually care. Not only care about the environment, but caring about each other, caring about something other than yourself. Certainly want to give a shout out to the Joppa people. You guys come from a long, long line of warriors, just like our people here. So thank you. Thank you for what you do. My name is Lance Tachawika, and I'm a member of the Comanche Nation of Oklahoma. And what we do is, me and my group here are all family. It's my mother and two brothers. Come on, Andrew. And one of my brother's wives here came tonight, Beth. He only has one wife. We do our best to, just like you all, try to save the environment. We're trying to save something just as important, if not more important. We are trying to save our culture, our traditions, our songs. Unfortunately, they're going, like the environment, too fast. They're becoming too polluted. So we as a group do our best to teach the youth where we come from. And that's very important in today's age. We've lost a lot of that. You don't know where you're going if you don't know where you come from. And that's what we do. So tonight we're going to present to you a couple of songs. This is just a small glimpse of who we are as a people. We have a very, very rich heritage that is not taught in schools, unfortunately. And what really happened to us is not taught in schools, unfortunately. Also would like to give a shout out after we're done here. If any of you would like to come out and see kind of a mini powwow, I believe it's December 15th, Yolanda's having, her Red Path Warrior Society is having a Christmas potluck. And this lady right here doesn't get the recognition she deserves because she is huge in the Native community. Thank you. She single-handedly gets together, and I don't know how she does it, good Lord, she must never sleep. Last year we fed, how many baskets do we have? We had 20 baskets. We were able, she single-handedly, with help from some other people, got together 20 baskets to feed 20 needy Native families. 20 families that last Christmas had food on the table because of her. And it's going to happen again. I think last year was the first year, and each year after that, we're trying to make it bigger. So you guys come out December 15th at Grawweiler Recreation Center. If you can't come out, break bread with us. We're going to have a powwow there. We actually will have dancers, singers, so come on out. Can people in the back hear us? Are we good enough? Did you fall asleep already? We have many different styles and types of songs. Just like if you would turn the radio on, you might hear, country music or opera or my mom's favorite, Christmas music. She started playing that about 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry? Oh, is that better? There you go, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, she started playing Christmas music about 3 weeks ago, so. And unfortunately, it goes straight through till December 31st at midnight. So we'll sing a couple of songs here. And like I said, this is just a small glimpse into what it is we do. The drums we use are made of either buffalo hide or bull. And they're all handmade. None of this is bought in stores or Home Depot. The wood on the side is cedar. And it's all made by hand. There's no special glues. There's no special, ropes or anything like that. It's all from nature. Everything we get from nature we use. We don't waste. We're not a wasteful people. We're very, very resourceful, from the outfits we wear to the ceremonial drums, even the drumsticks we use. They all come from nature. So this first song that we're going to sing is just what we call a war dance song. In times of war, we would sing certain songs to, I guess, pump us up, kind of like a pep rally would be. You know, kind of get us hyped up, get us ready. So, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. And as you could probably tell, it's far different from the beats that you normally hear in old westerns. Yeah. We don't do that. Totally different. This next song that I would like to leave you all with is a journey song, a closing song. We, as Native people, are praying people. We believe in that. Get up first thing in all of our ceremonies, whether it be, you know, powwows, churches, we start with the prayer and we end with the prayer. That's the way it's always done. And we sing a final song as, I guess, a gift or a prayer to you all. So I want to thank each and every one of you for what you do. And like the gentleman said before, one person can make a difference. So please keep doing what you're doing. You are making a difference. And the gentleman in the hat, I've seen you on TV before. And it's good to finally see you in person, sir. So this next song is a prayer song, and the words in it are from the Ponca Nation. All of the tribes, we all have different languages. We all don't have a universal language. We have a universal sign language, but we have different languages. And the song talks about taking care of us as we go to heaven and how we're going to be with the Almighty. So with that said, I know next weekend is Thanksgiving, and we all certainly have a lot to be thankful for. I know I do. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very kind. Certainly appreciate this time. I want to thank each and every one of you, and also the ones that invited us up here. I hope this just gave you a small glimpse into who it is we are as a people. And I certainly invite you out December 15th. If you can, come break bread with us. There'll be many more of us there. So good evening, have a good holiday, and hope to see you all again.
Thank you, Lance. Again, thank you for having us here. Thank you, sir. Just one more thing. You hear how he talks about how sacred that drum is to us. This is why we fight so hard to keep our culture. We see so many commercials and models, and especially come Halloween time, of people wearing headdresses, of people dressing up like us. It's not fair. We are the only race of people that people like to mimic. We're still here, we're still human beings, and we're very proud to be here because our ancestors fought for us to be here. I come from a long line of women that survived all the massacres that took place. So when you see these things, know that we are still here, and when you see these Halloween costumes and these headdresses and things like that, they're hurting us. The mascots, they hurt us. We're human beings too. So anyways, thank you very much, everybody. And again, like you said, maybe you can come out on December 15th. Other than that, have a great evening.
We are coming to the end. I have one final Coke Buchanan story to leave you with. Coke and I talked about this particular concept for our meeting tonight back in the winter, and we're trying to put it together. And of course, his passing was tough on all of us. But Coke always knew that I would love to have had a Native American name. And I, would want to be Screaming Eagle or Running Bear or something, equally adventurous. And then literally 2 nights before, or 1 night before he passed away, he sent me a text about some limousine business, and he gave me the moniker of Green Man. So I can't be Screaming Eagle, I can't be Running Bear, but from Coke I will accept Green Man. And your presence tonight has been very important. I will leave you with one other final quote, actually from Teddy Roosevelt, written to John Muir. John Muir's longtime wife had just passed away, and Teddy Roosevelt wrote him a letter that very few people know about, and it said, condolences. It said, in your grief, you should run to the hills, you should run to the forest, because that is the only place you can be made whole. So all of us at Green Source in this beautiful climate-controlled building, I think we all know that we need to get out and we need to enjoy the wilderness and enjoy nature and enjoy our clean air and water that we do have because of all the hard work here. So go forth. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you at Oak Cliff Earth Day. We'll be looking for sponsorships, and we will hopefully get a little bit warmer weather, and we appreciate it very much. All the awards winners, your runner-ups, if you're still here, Julie, we have certificates for the runners-up. She suggested that I give one a copy of one of my books, but I said, no, it's not. That's not a consolation prize like that, but I only have a few thousand left. Just kidding. But all the winners need to come up, and we also have boxes that you can put your awards in so that you can take them home safely. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. It has been a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Hello. I want to say something, a couple other things. I don't know if y'all noticed them cameras on my truck. They really work. I got 3 TVs, DVR, PA system, Wi-Fi in that truck. It's the only truck in the United States like it. It's been on TV, about 40 different stories about it. including Dateline out of New York came up, spent 8 hours with me. Channel 4 did 3 stories, Channel 5 did 3, 8 did 3, 11 did 2, and they had me on Good Morning Texas. But y'all know Dak Prescott. He plays for Cowboys. He took a styrofoam cup. You may have seen it live on TV. First time I saw him, he tossed that styrofoam cup. He missed a trash can. He got up, picked it up, put it in the trash can. I told my wife I made him a class act right there. But he got nominated #1 superhero for what he did. Willie Nelson is a sponsor for Don't Mess with Texas. He's on TV talking about Don't Mess with Texas and got songs out. He got the #3 spot. I got the #2 spot. I got between him and Willie. And that was a real honor because I didn't know I got it until somebody notified me. But anyway, I got that spot, and that was a kind of real honor there. Thank you very much.
Winners with their prizes up here. All right, Kim, get yours, my friend.